Well, hello everyone, and welcome in once again to our Saturday night program. We got a brand new program starting tonight, Awakening After the Watchtower. Wow, I'm telling you, I'm looking so forward to the program. We have got a former Jehovah's Witness. His name is Eric. He's originally from Rhode Island, but he's down there in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're so glad to have Eric on with us tonight. And he's got stories to tell. He's got things to discuss. I know they're going to get into disfellowshipping tonight. And then we have Daniel, his sidekick, coming in from Michigan. Daniel, well, you know Daniel. He's no stranger to the six screens. He's been on with Apostle Babe. As a matter of fact, Hailing After the Watchtower. For 2 years, he did that program. So he'll be on tonight as well with Eric. So we're looking forward to the program. So let me bring Eric on right now and say hello to Eric. Let's bring him on screen. We'll add him to the picture here, to the platform. Hello, Eric.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Well, there you are. There's Mr. Eric. Well, we're glad to see Eric back with us. And Daniel, I do believe we have you on with us. Daniel, you're there with us.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. Well, we
got
got Daniel on the phone line, but I'll tell you, maybe in 2 weeks we're gonna get Daniel on. But Daniel has been under the weather a little bit, so we're gonna get Daniel perhaps on video in 2 weeks. But I'm gonna step out of the scene. I'm gonna let you guys do your program, but I'm here if you need me. All righty.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick. Hey, Rick, just before you step out, I just wanted to let you know that this Thanksgiving will be Desiree and I's 1 year anniversary since we found you guys. And we do celebrate Thanksgiving. We don't eat turkey, but we make all the sides, and it's delicious.
Well, good for you. Well, good for you, Eric. Good for you. Well, thank you very much. I'm here if you need me.
All right, buddy. How you doing, Daniel?
Good. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Not bad, man. It's good. It's good to sit here with you.
Hey.
And
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say when we were discussing the topic that we're going to talk about tonight, I love it because it's something that a lot of pain within this subject matter, because for me, we'll get into it, but the disfellowshipping thing and what that does to a person, when you came up and it was your idea, I thought it was beautiful, because people need to hear and understand. And if there's new ones on the call that are freshly out, it might help them if they are disfellowshipped, or maybe they're facing that or gone through it themselves. It's awesome topic that you chose for tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Well, yeah, I guess to start off with the audience here, it's pretty fitting to talk about disfellowshipping because today's daily text from Watchtower, Saturday, today's date, 11/18. They use 1 Peter 5:2, and I think they use like hardly any of the words. What do they use? Shepherd the flock of God under your care. They don't read the whole scripture. Then the text goes on to say this. And just to give you guys a little like meat and potatoes, some like a background. It's like I've noticed with the daily text that like I've noticed a difference from being raised in the 80s and 90s to what they're doing now. It's so manipulative. It's never a positive message anymore. All it ever is control. They either talk about disfellowshipping in the daily text once to twice a month. This month there's only one, and it's today. There's also always texts about what else is it? There's always texts about forgiving your brother, donating even now. I never heard about a daily text talking about the widow's mite. It's getting out of control. At some point, I'm gonna read the whole year's text, or maybe the next year that comes out, and I'm just gonna figure out how many times that it's all just manipulation and hardly any encouraging. But anyways, today's text reads as follows. Jehovah's people are united in worship of the one true God. Jehovah has entrusted the elders with the weighty responsibility of keeping the congregation clean. If a Christian commits a serious sin, Jehovah expects the elders to determine whether that individual can remain in the congregation. Among other things, they need to find out whether the person is truly sorry for what he did. He may claim to be repentant, but does he truly hate what he did? Is he determined not to repeat the sin? If bad association led up to the wrongdoing, is he willing to cut off those associations? The elders prayerfully consider the facts in the light of the scriptures, taking into account the wrongdoer's attitude toward what happened. Then they decide whether the wrongdoer may remain in the congregation. In some cases, he must be disfellowshipped. So I found that extremely disturbing, because they're just, when David Splain said that, brothers, this is war, he meant it. He's at war with us and our families. And this isn't encouraging at all. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves. It's like self-projection. They're trying to convince themselves almost that, it's biblical and this is from God. I'm going to just bring up a point and then see what Daniel thinks about it. But one thing that really disturbed me out of this, let me see if I can find it. Oh, among other things, they need to find out whether the person is truly sorry for what he did. Like, they would know. What are you, God? Like, how the heck? Even a judge can't really figure out if someone's truly sorry in a court of law. That you can kind of tell, but that's an imperfect human being. And that's a whole totally different situation when you got a cold-blooded killer. This is common little sins like smoking a cigarette or disagreeing with their policies. And I found it so sad that they think that prayer can guide these elders to make the right decision, when Daniel has 8 reinstatement letters, and he drove 2 hours, he told me, to get reinstated, and they said no. I mean, are they really praying to God, or is Satan involved here? But what do you think, Daniel? That's one point that I had.
See, this is one of the, okay. Well, I guess now you go back at it, there's huge topics, but just fellowshipping was a big thing for me, because like I told you before when we were talking, that I would go into the restroom, say during at the meeting, and happen to be in at the same time as somebody I knew was disfellowship. And it's just like, I looked over at this brother. I wanted him to feel loved. I wanted him to feel accepted. At that point, I had not been disfellowshipped before. And so I didn't know what that would feel like, but I still felt for him. And he's like, you know, you're not supposed to be talking to me, right? I said, I know that. I just want to make sure you're okay. And he kind of looked at me, I knew he was grateful, but he was also afraid of maybe an elder walks into the bathroom too, and we're talking, he get in trouble or whatever. And it hurt my heart how the Watchtower has programmed the congregation to use this as a weapon of destruction. Because in reality, what do you lose when you're disfellowship? You can have a best friend. Mm-hmm. Them gone. Your mother, your father, your siblings, all of that. What does that do to somebody's psyche? What does that actually do to you? Because you already got guilt. You already have guilt. And you have to process that of whatever you've done, but everybody else knows you did something. And I guarantee, what's always interesting? You go out in service, when you're not disfellowship, you go out in service, you find out why the person got disfellowship, because how does the sister know to tell these other people? It's because the elders talk to their wives, and the wives can't keep their mouth shut. And eventually why somebody was disfellowship. Oh, they had sex, or they did this, or they were caught smoking a cigarette, or they did that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm not trying to go too
The
far.
the wives know it. The wives know everything. They do.
They do. It's for
Yeah.
real. They do.
I've caught it, and I've seen it happen. And I had a friend of mine tell me that she rules the nest, like rules the roost, if you will. She wears the pants, and he's an elder. And when he became an elder, she's like, I want to know everything, and she actually influences him to make decisions in the elder rooms. And if she don't like somebody,
Oh, wow. Oh,
yep. And
if she don't
so
like.
so she basically has the vote, and nobody knows it. Their names are Rick and Donna, and they're from like Massachusetts. And I don't know the last name, but the buddy that told me this, he's creditable, so I believe him because he's told me other things and they're all true. So I believe it for sure. I know it's just gossip and hearsay, but that stuff like that is happening to back you up, you know. And I know that the many times that I got busted for pot, it's like everybody knew, and it was the elders' wives that told the daughter, and then the daughter told everybody, you know. They'd always make fun of me and like put their do the motion like you're smoking with the fingers on your lips. But it's horse crap how we're treated there, Daniel.
Well, you know something. I want to say something to you too, because you talked about here's the elders trying to decide whether you're repent or not. Well, look at so. When I was 8 years old, I was molested by my uncle. Now, he wasn't a Jehovah's Witness, but that doesn't make it any less of a disgusting thing, right? So but I find that when I talk to other people, when stuff like that happens to you, your sexual, you seem to become more heightened. I don't know what the word is to use. So imagine being 8, that happens to you. You reject it, you fight it off. I never told nobody. I never told my parents nothing because I was ashamed. I was disgusted by it, but I didn't know what to do with it, so I kept it inside, right? So by the time my hormones are kicking into my teenage years, and I'm looking at these girls where I was at, you know, my sexual drive seemed to be just kind of like all over the place. How is an elder supposed to understand that because of what you've gone through can interact in that way or set you in a course or whatnot? Or maybe it made you feel a certain way, made you feel dirty, and so you want to be with a woman because you were molested by a man, you know? You want for your own sanity. It was like, I love women, I don't love men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it screws with your head of being molested like that. And I when I got on my teenage years, it's like I went off the deep end. I was already baptized, and I thought getting baptized would wipe out that whole thought process. You know, am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making a lot of sense, man. This whole elders arrangement has really done a lot of damage. My cam back on. Has done a lot of damage to us all. Another part in the daily text, it says after it says, among other things, they need to find out whether the person is truly sorry for what he did. It says he may claim to be repentant, but does he truly hate what he did? All right, so we have the parable from Jesus, right, about the prodigal son. In what way does this emulate anything in the Bible or anything that we've ever been taught? I'm not trying to like bore people, but like the scripture in a King James Bible in 1 Peter 5:2 actually says, "Shepherd the flock of God, which is among you." They say, "Shepherd the flock of God under your care," but the scripture goes on. They just, for some reason, they just highlight a little small part of it to probably deceive the people. But the whole scripture is to shepherd the flock of God which is among you, serving as overseers, not by compulsion, but willingly, not for dishonest gain, but eagerly. So why did they leave the dishonest gain part? I mean, because that's what these elders do. They get drunk on their power, and it is dishonest gain. So some of them make money off of people in the congregation by selling a product or being a carpenter or something. You know, that's kind of something I got out of it. But then it goes on to say, after he made claim to be repentant, but does he truly hate what he did? Is he determined not to repeat the sin? If bad associations led up to wrongdoing, is he willing to cut off those associations? What this is telling me is that you went against Watchtower. You have to be really sorry, beg and grovel to come back, cut off all of the ties of the people that got you here in the first place. This is total control, Daniel. You know, can't you agree?
Can I say something to this?
Yeah.
It's not total control. It's manipulation and brainwashing you and using the own sins of flesh.
Gotcha. It makes more sense.
When I messed up, okay, I had sex outside of marriage. I felt guilty. So, but see, you got to also take the previous trauma. You got to take everything into effect. And these elders are not psychiatrists. They are not trained. They do not know how to handle or even feel. Now, they might say, oh, we're going to pray. We're going to have you leave the room and we're going to pray about it. And Joe's Holy Spirit is going to tell us whether you're repentful or not or what we should do. Bull crap. Bull crap. There is no Holy Spirit there. It's men that either they like you, they don't like you, they use their own perception and judge you. They judge. There is no freaking Holy Spirit there. That's why it irks me when they say you got three men that are appointed by elders, and you got to go sit there and tell them. I had a brother that he was one of the elders in Salem, Oregon. He had to be in his 70s. The other two brothers, probably 30s, 40s, whatever. But this brother in his 70s was taking notes. Do you know how personal they get? And I don't mean to be graphic. So anybody, I'm gonna say this because people need to know this if you have not experienced this. If something's too graphic for you, I would tell you right now, just put it on mute or don't listen, whatnot. I'm sitting there between, and this is men to men, okay? I can't imagine a sister. I can't even imagine a sister. I'm a man. They asked me this is the question, the brother's taking notes. Did you come? When he asked me that question, I was like, what does this have? I'm here to repent. Here's the thing, I'm going to back up. They didn't come and look for me. I went to them to confess. So you got a brother sitting there, and I'm already uncomfortable anyway. I'm already embarrassed. I'm already ashamed because of the way I was brought up, right? So he's asking me these questions in detail. And then he says, did you enjoy it? Did you ejaculate? I mean, they're going all through this, and I'm thinking to myself in my head, what does this have anything to do with repentance? Because you could do something and feel bad about it later, but why are you asking me the details? It was, to me, it was dark. It was disturbing. As a man, even to men, I was uncomfortable. Did you go fully inside? They were going full out detail. And that's why I'm not trying to be so graphic, but I'm saying is, to really get it down to it, if a man to a man feels that uncomfortable, what do you think our sisters went through? You imagine sitting there as a woman, confessing her sin, and them asking the same questions. Did you enjoy it? Did you have an orgasm? What does an orgasm have anything to do with you're sitting there confessing your sins, other than you sick, perverted people are somehow getting off on this crap? Because what else can it be?
It's like they emasculate you when they do that. It happened to my brother. So this happens all the time. They wanted to know where he came, and like, oh man, they're dirty men, because they're like living fantasy off of your story. It's really gross. It's disgusting. But I've heard horror stories with sisters. They harassed my wife, wanting to know all kinds of things in our what happens in our bedroom. They're awful, dude. It's a nightmare to be a part of that cult. I mean,
the reason why, and I'm not trying to be so graphic, but it's the point that we need to hear it, because ones that are about to go through it, if they're going to go through it or have been through it, we can relate to each other and also help others realize you don't need to go through it, because they're going down a route that's perverted. It's disgusting. And you look at Jesus when he said to the woman that the Pharisees were trying to trip Jesus up, and the woman got caught, I guess, in the sin of doing whatever she was doing, and he looked at her and says, "Go and sin no more." He didn't say, "What did you do? Tell me detail. Did you have this? Did you do this? Did you perform this? Did you do doggy style?" You know what I'm saying? Christ. I know it sounds disgusting and silly at the same time, but what I'm trying to say is, these guys, if we're taught not to go beyond the scriptures, where in the hell are these people at? They go beyond the scriptures 24/7. They constantly manipulate the scriptures, twist the scriptures, and use it against you to manipulate you to be a broken vessel so that they can control.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Who's talking?
Okay.
That's Joe. My brother Joe.
My name's Tom.
Oh, hey, Tom.
Sorry, I got you mixed up.
Yep, Tom's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So, how you doing, guys? Yeah, thank you for doing this. Anyways, what I'm thinking is, from a lot of the experiences that people have put on, on the YouTube, and their experience of leaving and their experience of going through these judicial committees, from what I gather, it seems like the elder body already had decided that they're guilty and they're going to disfellowship them. So they came there thinking they are totally 100% repentant, and they know it in their hearts, and they really regret it. And these elders cannot read their hearts. So the fact, all they're doing is the fact of they're just getting information of what you actually did. But they have no way of judging how repentant you are. You could be crying, you want to kill yourself, you're so repentant. It doesn't matter to them, because they cannot judge that. They have no real, no real spiritual actual guidance. They just go on the facts, and
Yep.
That's all. And that's what I have heard so many times, and it has been devastating for a lot of people. So, what's that?
You're right, brother, because they cannot read hearts, so they go off a outline what they're looking for. But see, the problem is, so if somebody wanted to fake it, they could do it. They could say, "Oh, whatever," to appease them. They have no way of knowing whether that person is repentful or not. The whole thing is, when you look at disfellowshipping, if you look at, there are very rare scriptures in the Bible that see, they built this whole thing on a very little thing to look at. You look at the story in the Bible and the New Testament is a man that, it sounds crazy, but I guess he was having an affair with his stepmom or something like that. And then he was coming to the synagogue or coming to the church or whatever we want to call it, coming to the Kingdom Hall, whatever your name is. He's coming there with this woman. And so it was brought to the attention, this cannot be acceptable. So he met with the elder ones or whatever, and they just told him this is wrong. And so then he changed. He quit doing what he was doing. But he was still being treated the same way, and I believe it was Paul, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because he was being shunned, I guess, and however they did it back then, he was being shunned. And so Paul came back in and said something to the effect that he already repented. He's already changed. So basically, accept him back into the congregation or to the, to where they were at. And so because leaving somebody out becomes dangerous, you're going to damage that person. And you look at the Watchtower, you got like, and I know Larry John Wayne won't mind me sharing this because he shared it before on the show many times. That poor brother tried to get reinstated. See, I went through, in my experience, it took me almost 3 years to get reinstated. Larry went beyond that. They weren't reinstating him. He finally just gave up, But 3 years, I'm not comparing myself to Larry, but for me, almost 3 years of making all the meetings, doing exactly what I'm told to do. And I can share more later on at time what in between all that, but it was almost 3 years before I got reinstated because
Hey Daniel,
outside of merit.
Because they are experts at reading people's body language, and they've all gone to college for all that, right? So they're or is it just their prayers? Oh wait,
no, they haven't gone to
all
college.
they have to go on is their prayers.
This is Watchtower.
That's both.
Hey guys, I just wanted to add something if I can. In the comment section, Brad from Australia, my homie, he wanted to say, Tom, that he misses you and that likes your emails or something like that. I'm not quoting it word for word. And
thank you.
Bob Roberts also left a really good comment saying he found that even though the daily text mentions Jehovah many, many, many times during a year, they almost never use the word Jesus, which is interesting to me. I think he used AI to come up with that because we talked about that, I think, one point. But I thought I got the comment section up here, so every once in a while I'll throw that in if that's cool.
Yes, that's totally awesome.
I can't see it when I'm on the phone. I can't see the comment section. When I'm watching.
Well, I have a TV in front of me. I'm using my PS4 to run YouTube, so I can read the comments that are coming up. And no, Brad, I haven't finished FF7 yet.
I want to throw out real quick. I love you, Brad.
I want to give a shout out to Calvin from Australia too. He's we're in a group. We're the dope boys, but that's not the real word. There's a swear word at the end.
Yeah. I love you guys, all of you guys. I friggin' do. And I'm glad I got to, chat a little bit with you. And Dan, I really get to know you too. But
where are you from, brother?
I'm from New Hampshire.
Okay,
oh, no kidding. I'm from Rhode Island.
I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm working with the crew. We're going to Louisiana next, but I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. I've never been on these parts of the United States before, so it is quite a trip. But I actually, you know what? The guy that hired me was born and raised at JW, and I told him one day, he's never baptized though, and
I wouldn't either.
I told him we got into some conversation, and he goes, we were talking about religion and stuff, and I said I was born and raised in a cult. And I told him, he goes, "Oh, yeah, I was raised that too. I never got baptized." But he goes, "They are the truth. They are the closest to the truth." I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute. No, see, normally I don't come out of the box like that. But
well, good luck with that, though.
These days, from what we've been through and what we've seen and what's going on in the world,
excuse me, y'all. Sorry.
I become more outspoken. And so I looked at him. I said, "When was the last time you went to a Kingdom Hall?" Well, it was probably like 20 years ago.
Hey guys, can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you all for a second? We got a caller that wants to come in. Debbie Moore has something to say. Why doesn't she's got something to say about this comment? So let's open the lines up. Debbie, you got a call? I mean, a comment. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, honey. How you doing, baby? Good to see you, Mama. Or hear from you. Go ahead.
Daniel was talking about how people needed to be warned about before they go and confess something to the elders, or even tell the elders something about a sin that's been committed, especially in the line of sex or anything like that. When I went to the brothers about being raped, the first thing they asked me was, "What did you do to make him want to rape you?" I didn't do anything, but that was their automatic assumption that if you're even raped, it's your own fault, even if it's by another brother in the congregation. And and talk about details, like Daniel was saying, the details are unbelievably personal. I mean, and I'm going to be graphic right now. So tell anybody, mute their phone or whatever, and don't listen, because this is going to be graphic. Because they ask you, did the man come inside of you? Or if he didn't, where did he do that at? You know, like, was it on your stomach? Did they rub it in? Anything like that, you know?
My God. These guys are brutal.
How deep did they go inside of you? Well, you know what? When you're being raped, you're not thinking of those kind of details. You're just thinking, I got to get the heck out of here. How am I going to escape from this? That's it. That's all you. But now afterwards, to talk about it, even if you were talking to a doctor, even they don't ask you that deep of questions, enough that kind of detail. So instead of being raped by one man, you're sitting there feeling like you are being raped by three, because it is so traumatic. And that can drive a woman even to suicide, because not only do they want to know what you've done to cause it, are you sorry for what you did, even if you didn't know what it was? Now, they don't do, okay, and I know they quiz brothers too, but when it came to blame, all of it was blamed on the sister. I got publicly reproved. He didn't. I did. And
because, wait a minute, you
I
were
actually had a cousin that had the same thing happen to her, and she was devastated. She was.
Oh, I was too.
She did nothing wrong, but all because she did not tell anybody. She didn't scream or whatever. She was condemned, and she was reproved, and she was made to look like the bad person. So I saw that firsthand, and I know that's what they did. They were terrible about that, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that. That's terrible.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was one of the reasons that I got in so much trouble, was because I didn't scream. But there was nobody to hear me anyway. I was, and I didn't scream, because that's also
the elders they're not trained enough. They don't go to college. They're not trained as they have no right doing that. And I don't know how this religion gets away with this, but it needs to be stopped. And hopefully, with everybody sharing their stories, that this is what they have to share their stories, as embarrassing and personal as it is. People, I don't know, whoever makes the laws has to hear this stuff somehow, because this is ridiculous and it still goes on. And guys, thank you for sharing your story. This isn't my show. I'm going to shut up, but I have to just say that because I appreciate that. I've seen it happen. I remember watching my cousin come out of there crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying, and she didn't do anything wrong, but the person that did, never got any punishment, but she did, and that was wrong. And that was one of the reasons why I never got baptized, because I saw the bullshit, and I just didn't swallow all that shit. But anyways,
you know what I was gonna. Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
I just want to say to Debbie, because this is why, Eric, I love it that you chose a subject matter, because it's something that I've experienced, and I know so many of us out there that have. And Debbie, I want to say something to you. I've said to you before, I'm going to say it again because you need to hear it. Are you hearing me?
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
You're loved, you're accepted, and you're enough. I want you to keep telling yourself that you are loved, you're accepted, and you're enough. None of this crap was your fault. You should have never been set between three men by yourself and be asked such disgusting, perverted questions, because it has nothing. I don't care if you believe in Jesus Christ or not.
You're not in
before Jesus. This is say you are. I don't want to put nobody on the spot, but if you could imagine, say Jesus is real, and you're sitting before him, do you think he's going to ask you, did you enjoy it? Where did he do this? Where did he do that? How far did he go in? He ain't going to be asking no questions like that. What gives these three men that? The Watchtower, see, there's a bigger picture here that I think people need to understand, because I don't think that all elders are a bunch of perverts. They're going by an outline. But it's what they don't realize, or some of them might not realize, is it's a very perverted, disgusting, because those notes go into a file. Those file goes to New York or wherever the Watchtower branch, wherever they're at now, Work Hill, Walk Hill, whatever it's called. What I'm saying is this shit goes into a file. And that's why the person's taking notes. I don't know who reads them at the end of the day and gets off on it or not, but it is sick, twisted, and disgusting, because if you believe it's Bible, where is there a scripture? When it talks about confessing your sins, where does it say you're going to be, what's the word, Eric? Like you're going to be
repentant.
You know what I'm saying? You already got guilt.
Well, where in the scriptures, Daniel, does it say that you've got to have three guys, right, that are going to go in a judicial committee, and they're going to decide your fate, whether you lose your family and lose your life in some cases? I mean, so when I read that daily text, right, it says, shepherd the flock of God under your care. That's what they chose to highlight, under your care. How is this care? And then when you read all of the stuff that they're doing, right, like you have to make sure they're repentant and blah, 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 blah. Are they going to repeat the sin? Are they truly sorry for what they did? This is all really, really narcissistic behavior. Like, how dare you go against our code? And they're hurting us really bad over it. And this just is clear that it's not following the Bible at all. They have today or yesterday, I think it was this morning, Jeffrey Winder did a new video, the governing body member, the new one. And he said that he was saying that what was it? I'm trying to think. Sorry. He was making a point to where the elders don't have the right to take over someone's headship, and like a man's head, a brother's headship. So that they might, and it was all about modesty. That was the name of the talk. And I'm just like, but that's like furthest from the truth, because we just had a leaked video where there was it was a leaked video where it was an elders or no circuit overseers training video where a brother in the video had his kids going to college, and he got removed as an elder, to make a long story short for it in the video. So in the elder, that he's like, it's none of your business of what my kids do. And well, people in the congregation are offended by it. And so this contradicts the talk that Jeffrey Winder just gave. I was going to do a clip today, but I didn't want to overwhelm us, because our topic is enough material for tonight. But that's something I found interesting too, man. Like they always double speak. They say one thing and then but they don't really mean it, and they mean something else. They're like a serpent with a split tongue. Hey, before we keep going on, does anybody else want to in the phone line, or does in the comment section? Does anyone have anything to say?
I have one last thing to say, and then I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, Tom.
One last thing to say. All right. So I have a very strong feeling that the reason why they ask all these questions, especially of these young ladies, is to make them feel guilty, because yes, of course they enjoyed a lot of that, because they are young ladies and young people. Any of us, we of course, it's sexual and you enjoyed it, but you didn't plan on it, you didn't ask for it. But that doesn't become the issue. The issue should be that man was too old, or it was not, you did not ask for it, but then they make you feel guilty because you actually enjoyed it, because naturally, and it's a human trait that you just can't fight. That, yes, okay, that sexual stuff felt good. So now they're making you feel guilty, and that's what they're doing to these young ladies, and it's terrible. But I think that's why they do it, so that they feel guilty and they stop pursuing it. That's all I have to say, and I appreciate all the rest of the stuff that you're talking about. And
I gotta say something to that. Can I?
I just wanted to throw that out, and I'm going to mute myself, because you guys are doing great and you're having a good show. And I just
thank you, brother,
for allowing me to speak my mind.
You have a great night, Tom. It was good. It's good hearing from you, and speak up at any time. Thanks for coming on.
Eric, can I say something to that?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, this brother that spoke up, I appreciate what he said, but you got to go to a deeper level. It's a much deeper level than that. Our sisters, yes, you mourn for them. You feel that innocence that was taken from them, but see, it's not just the female; it's the male. So what I'm trying to say is the perversion of the Watchtower is far more disgusting than a lot of people realize. It's not just about taking the innocence from a woman, and that's terrible. 100% terrible. But they're not doing it just to the women. Men or young boys, if their innocence have been taken away from them. So when you look at the organization as a whole, and you look at if you want to, maybe this will be a different topic for us, a different day. But I was thinking of the pictures that the subliminal images, and maybe we can do a topic on that. But I think in reality, it's a very sexual organization that they almost, by their own laws, want you to be disfellowshipped. Why? So they can break you. You get, once you're disfellowshipped and go through that experience of your own mother and father reject you, your own siblings, your best friends, even if you're sorry for what you did, just say you were sorry for what you did, but the elders chose to disfellowship you anyway. That's a double whammy, because if you went to the elders and confessed your sin, there's nowhere in the Bible that says you should be treated like something different. Especially you went and you confessed. Now the elders have you leave the room and they supposedly pray over it. I call bull crap over that. They're making a decision off their own personal.
You're right.
And then
I got one last thing to say. You're 100% right, and I'm sorry. I should have included men in the whole thing.
Hey, before you have your last point, because I like to include the audience, Artsy Kim GUSA says, my sister was mistreated that way, so went to LA for years, and it took forever for her to recuperate. She just wanted to be treated normal again, but my mom took the elders' side as usual. It's so sad how they divide the families, you know. I thought I'd add that out. Thanks for the comment, Artsy Kim G.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Hello, Eric and Daniel.
Yeah.
Please.
Of course.
Who's this?
Constance Borghi and
Hi, Constance. Oh, hi, Constance. How you doing?
Hi. I wanted to say I'm really enjoying the show very much.
Cool.
Daniel, I'm so sorry. Hi, honey. I'm so sorry about your experience in the molestation. I did not know that about you, and my previous went through that, so my heart really goes out to you on that. What I wanted to say in reference to your topic tonight is Bob Gray, you know, he's up in New England and a friend of Rick and also Rich's. And he had been an elder for many, many years and had been in the organization for many, many years. And I had the opportunity to meet him a couple of years ago when I was living in California, and it was actually in Sacramento. He was there, and I went down and got to meet him and other people. The point I'm trying to make is we all got together and we all went out to lunch, and I was driving, and he came with me, and he said, you know, he says, Constance, it's really interesting. He says, I was a witness for many years. I was an elder for many years. And he said, you know, the average JW thinks that when there's a judicial committee meeting, they think that once they, you know, when they go into the judicial committee meeting of the three elders, they think that the brothers are going to really listen to them and be very loving and kind and try to be shepherds of the flock. And I said, yeah, that's what we were always taught. He said, that's not the truth at all. He said, the truth of the matter is, before a person walks into that judicial committee meeting, those body of elders have already made up their mind before you walked in. Mm-hmm. They've already made up their mind. And I said, are you kidding me? He says, no, I'm not. I am not kidding you. He says, this is where the average JW has no clue how it all operates. So, you know, that's something for people who are listening in. And let me just say this one brief point. There was a sister that I was very close to in high school. Her name was Lucille. Long story short, her husband cheated on her and she got real pissed off. And I think her husband was reinstated and she did tit for tat. So she went out and she cheated on him, right? Not saying it was right. I'm just explaining. So, and they had 3 kids. So anyway, she felt guilty and she went before the elders because of her guilt. And anyway, she was disfellowshipped. Okay, well, she was close to the Minners, the and Marianne Minna, okay, the elder and elderette. And Marianne had called Lucille because they were very close. Now listen to this, because this is very important. And Marianne said to Lucille, Lucille, why did you go to the elders? Now keep in mind, Marianne's husband was an elder, okay, and still was at the time. She said, Lucille, why did you go to the elders and confess your sin? And Lucille said, because that's what we're told we're supposed to do. You know, we're supposed to go before the elders and we're supposed to confess our sin. And Marianne said, well, you know, if that had been me, I would have never told the elders. Okay? And she was married to an elder, and her husband had been an elder and still was for many years. And Lucille said, what? She says, yep, no, I would have never told the elders. She said, that would have been between me and Jehovah. And that, when Lucille told me that years ago, it blew my socks off. And I thought, what in the world is this all about? Well, Marianne was the elderette, and she knew how the game was played among the elders. Okay, she knew it. She knew the game. She knew how it was played. And Lucille said to me, I think Marianne, when she and Kenny had separated because they had some issues in their marriage, this is my friend Lucille said, she said, I think Marianne stepped out on Kenny, but she was not ever going to go and confess to the elders. And that's why she said, if anything ever like that ever happened, I would have never told the elders. That would have been between me and Jehovah. So I'm just saying this because as a regular, you know, when I was a publisher and, you know, I pioneered occasionally, you know, the average rank and file person has no clue what goes on behind closed doors, right? You don't.
No.
And you know, I've always said, you know, it's like the elders are judge, jury, and executioners, you know? And so I'm sorry, Daniel, that you went through that. I'm sorry Larry John went through that. But, you know, like the scriptures say, all you have to do is repent, you know, before God, and that's it. There's none of this crap where it goes on for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Rich hasn't seen his boys. They were 10 and 13, and now they're in their 40s. Okay? Yeah, they're in their 40s.
Wow.
And now we're in South Carolina, and we went up in the area where his one son was, and it was a Saturday just to see. And sure enough, his son was in the garage, had no idea that Rich and I have been married, and we're out here. And Rich was like, he didn't know what to say. And I said, do you want me to stop? He said, no, just keep going. He had not seen this son since he was 10, and his son's in his 40s. This is how cruel this organization is. And they say it's to keep the organization clean.
Yeah, okay.
With all these living pedophiles, okay? So that's just what I really wanted to say. So thank you so much.
Can I say something to you, sister?
Yeah, honey, go ahead.
I've been on this call for some years now, and I'm very grateful for all I've met. You've probably been on here longer than I have, but I want to say that I just want to say I love you, and
I love you
I
too,
appreciate
man.
you because all that you share on this program is so beautiful. Because, you know, like we all know, we don't know who's listening, who's hurting, who's just on the wayside. They don't know whether to speak up for the first time or not. But you got such love in your heart. You got the experience, and you get on here and you continuously share. And I'm going to tell you, be honest with you, how much you helped me. Because the words that you use are inspiring. And it's like, I think to myself, well, you know, I may have went through this, but there's somebody who's gone through far worse than I went through. But you still go through that trauma. You still go through that pain of understanding yourself and trying to figure out where your belief system lies because you were tricked. You were taught to believe a certain way was truth. So when ones like you that have the knowledge and have the experience, it you don't understand how many people, I guess I'm trying to say, you're actually helping by sharing your experience and your things. You've been tremendous in my life. I just want to share that with you because,
Thank you.
and I want to say I love you because you have a beautiful energy. You have a beautiful soul about you. Even though what you went through and all your pain and your scars, you chose to rise above it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, love. Well, and I wanted to say, when you go through where my family were not witnesses, okay? But I lost my dad at 13. I lost my mom at 25. I lost my whole family after my mom died. It all came down to money and greed, okay? And then I lost the JWs. And they were really my family. So 1983 was a tough year for me. Suicide was right there in front of me. And I said, no, I have to rise above this. It will get better. For me, I had to get to college, and that was my saving grace and everything. But, Daniel, I just wanted to also say I am so thrilled about your daughter, your baby girl. Honey, kudos. I am so, so happy for you. I wish I could give you a big hug through the phone, but Daniel, there's always hope, and I can hear it in your voice and your countenance now, and I'm so happy. I'll keep her in my thoughts and prayers, and thank God she's waking up, and I'm so happy for you, sweetheart. I really am.
Thank you so much for that, because even though I've shared this experience, it's surreal. It's like I almost have to pinch myself because like I'm actually, to be honest with you, and I don't mind anybody's opinion on anything because I believe we all learn and grow from each other. But I'm like, even though my daughter is saying all this, I still am not sharing everything with her because I'm afraid that if I say too much, maybe she'll retract and go back. So I'm trying to be very careful. Trust me. Do you want to grab them and hold on to them? And
let her come to you. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. It's because she's still under unfortunately, man, I wished her mom the best, but her mom got remarried to a Jehovah's Witness, and he was abusive. So now they're all back living. My daughter and her mom are living with the grandparents, my ex-wife's parents. And so they're witnesses, and they're hardcore witnesses. So my daughter's in that environment, so I'm trying to be very careful. I don't actually talk about Jehovah's Witnesses unless she brings it up. Because when we talk day to day, I just talk about life, talk about what she's doing, because I don't want her to feel like, oh, no, I have questions. That's all I don't want to push her away. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say too much. I'm glad she's awakened because she's voiced that. But I'm trying to be careful because she's also influenced by her grandparents and by her mom. So I'm trying to figure out the balance in letting her come to me and ask questions. If she comes to me and asks me questions, I don't have a problem. But then I try to kind of let it go from there. I don't know how you guys feel about it because it's kind of scary because you're actually seeing your own daughter wake up, but you don't want her to feel pressured. You don't want to put too much on her at one time. But I did tell her about the sixth screen, and she says, "Dad, I would love to come on the sixth screen." And you know what? That made my heart. I can't imagine. Can you imagine me on the sixth screen with my daughter? I think at 13 years old, she'd blow your mind. She's so intuitive. you know, where I'm at today at 52 years old, and being an empath and being able to feel energy and all that, I never understood as a younger person intuitive this. I thought, you know, the women, the mom, the woman's intuitive. The man is just non-emotional and goes to work and provides for the family and does this and that. But I learned from my dad something wasn't right with that, because everybody I was around were hardcore. You didn't show emotion. But I watched my dad with my mom, and it was different. And I couldn't understand that. So when I got older and started to feel, I guess, intuition and energy, and that's when my daughter and I line up. My daughter said to me was probably a couple months ago now, because all this has happened. She goes, "Dad, I didn't realize how much you and I were alike." She goes, "We both feel energy. We both can feel this and that." She goes, "I knew in my heart of hearts the Watchtower was a cult and it's damaging people." She goes, "I don't want to be a part of it, but I got to appease my mom, you know." And so what would you guys do in my situation? Am I doing the right thing of being careful, of not saying too much? Or should you just, if she's saying she's awoke, should you just share whatever you know? What do you guys do?
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
This is Fran and Joe.
Oh, hey.
Hi. Enjoying the program, you and Eric.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Fran. How you doing, hon?
Good, good. Congratulations on your 1 year with Watchtower, with Six Screens.
It's not 1 year out of the Watchtower, but 1 year with Six Screens, yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Oh, cool. Thanks, hon. I appreciate it so much. How are you doing, you and Joe, okay?
Oh, yeah, we're just doing great. We're sitting
That's
here
cool.
Hi, guys. Hello, guys. Nice job.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say to Daniel, yes, I would be taking it slow like you are, and only answer her questions. Don't, bombard her. Like you said, you're trying not to do. That's really good.
Oh, thank you.
It's hard
for Daniel.
I'm sorry, Eric. I didn't mean to
No. I saw silence, or I heard silence. I mean, I'm like, thank you. I was like, I don't know why I said that. Uncomfortable silence. Go ahead, Daniel. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking, for me, I've been on the Six Screens for years, and you hear of families coming out all at once, or maybe one comes out and then eventually somebody else comes out. Maybe their wife wakes up, or their husband wakes up, or their children. And I have not seen that personally for me. Okay, when my daughter did that, it just rocked my world, and I still get emotional with that today, because that's my baby girl. And whether it's a boy or a girl, that's your life. That's your child. You know what I'm saying? And you always want the best for your children, the better life than you had, per se, right? But being raised in a cult and having to process that and digest that and feel all the things you feel, and you're trying to figure out how you share that with your kids. For my daughter to wake up and she said things that I was already feeling, but she says it. And she's asking me, because she's trying to figure out whether she's normal. she's like trying to figure out what's wrong with her because she's looking at her mom. Why aren't you questioning this? Why aren't you looking at this and that? And I'm telling you, at a 13-year-old, it's like I'm talking to an adult. She has so much intuition, and what she feels and she sees, it blows my mind. Because if I had saw that, even though I felt things, but she's at a different level because she doesn't just
Well,
feel it.
hey, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. You there, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, some people in the comment section wanted to see if anybody else had anything to say real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you at all, but just to give other people a break, a moment to speak. Was there anyone that wants to talk about the disfellowshipping arrangement, how it's affected you? And I like to just say to the audience that, like, if there's any PIMQs listening, or people who are in the organization, or just people who know people who are PIMQs or PIMOs, just to open up. The reason why we tell our stories is to try to the more that the truth comes out, right? Because the truth is like the scum rises to the top. The truth always rises to the top. The cream, whatever metaphor you want to use, but it always does rise to the top. And the more that we spread our truth, the more that we have awareness of it. And I think that's what's important to for us to tell our stories. And I just wanted to say to Connie and Dick that I really appreciate you guys coming on the show, and Debbie and everybody that calls in. Thanks, Connie and Dick, for everything, all the comments you guys gave. You're always you give your stories, and it all helps the cause. I like to call it that for some reason. But was there anyone out there that wanted to leave a comment, and to answer somebody's question? Excuse me, in the comment section. No, I'm not an intuitive. I'm a sensor. But intuition is my fourth function, my introverted intuition. But that's Artsy Kim's question that I answered.
Eric, can I answer that?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Let's make sure that nobody wants to say anything first, right?
I do. Hello, Eric.
Yeah.
Dick Floyd here. Just a couple of really quick comments.
Okay.
When I became a Jehovah's Witness, I was told by the elders that I was studying with that if anybody was committing a serious sin, of course they defined serious sin the way they wanted to define serious sin. Evidently, being a pedophile is not a serious sin to them. But if you're an adulterer, which I was, what I was told was that the Holy Spirit would be taken away from the congregation, and the elders would realize that the Holy Spirit had left. They would do an investigation. They would find that evildoer, and then they would disfellowship him. That was the story that they said. So, if you were committing anything, smoking cigarettes, seeing porn, drinking too many beers, whatever, you would have in the back of your mind, you're causing the Holy Spirit to leave the congregation, and the whole congregation will die at Armageddon because the Holy Spirit is not protecting them, which is a line of BS, but that's what the line was when I was coming in 1970. The other thing I'd just like to mention about disfellowshipping is they don't tell people that the elders will take you in the back room in 6 months or 2 months. If you want to get reinstated, you're supposed to write a letter, but a lot of people like myself didn't know that because they never been disfellowshipped before. And we never talked to anyone that was disfellowshipped, and we didn't have the flock book to read because we weren't elders. So that's one of the things that I want the audience to know is that these elders at least the ones in my judicial committee, didn't have a whole lot going. One of the major persons who's an elder, his name was Bruce Holby, he had a 10th grade education. And you'll never find a situation where two elders say, let's disfellowship him, and one elder says, no, let's not disfellowship him. They're always in complete agreement, because whoever chairs that judicial meeting pretty much is the one who's going to decide whether or not you can stay in the congregation or take out of the congregation. And I just bring that up because a little sidebar, I went to a Celtic Knicks game back in the 80s, but with elders and servants, we got one meeting night, and we watched a Celtic game, and Larry Bird, he had like 8 points, which was below his average. And I said, well, Larry had a great game. He had all these block shots. He had all these assists. What a great game he had. They got, oh, no, he had a lousy game. The point being, two people can see the same thing. 5 people can see the same thing. And with myself, I said he had a great game. Everybody else thought he had a rotten game because he didn't score 18 points. So elders can look at things differently. It's the one brother that's chairing the judicial meeting. And
hey, Daniel,
to the fellowship always goes through the presiding overseer, even though he is not on it. He's not one of the 3 elders sitting in there. All those decisions go through the presiding overseer, and that's what a lot of JWs don't realize. Thank you.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Dick Bogey. Hey, I just want to say to you, one, because I don't think it's said enough, is thank you for your service. Because you're a Marine, right?
Oh, I thought it was Daniel talking. I'm so sorry. This whole time, I didn't know it was Dick. I'm so sorry. You guys kind of sound similar. I'm so sorry.
It's Dick Bogey.
I'm so sorry, Dick. Your voice is a little muffled in the background, and I thought it was Daniel talking the whole time, and I was confused. I'm so sorry.
No, I just want to thank him for his service. And, I always enjoy what your how do I say this? What you bring to the table, what you speak up and share with one another, because it is powerful. Our testimonies, our experiences, and that's where I get back to. Think about it, Dick. If you had, I don't remember if you have kids or not, but if you can imagine a 13-year-old, we're talking about us adults going through what we've gone through, and it's not that I'm trying to make a big deal about it, but I am amazed that a 13-year-old, and it just happens to be my daughter, she is looking through the glass. I don't remember the expression they used, but it's basically they look through and they call BS. I don't even understand how she feels what she feels. I know what I feel, but I'm an adult. She's 13. If I felt what she felt at 13, I would have went to college. I would have done so many different things. But at the same time, I'm happy for my daughter, because in reality, she has got her whole life in front of her. Her whole life. And if she knows she can talk to her dad and knows that's a safety net or whatever you want to call it, and it has her, I'm on her side, I got, she can go and do whatever. And that's what I told her the other day. I said, baby girl, you go find what you love to do, and you find out how to make money doing it. Find something you enjoy doing that brings rewards to you, and you can interchange with other people, because I think that's what with the world going today, it's all about oneself and their feelings and their this and their that. But we got to get back into the love. It's love. Find what you love to do, and you help others doing it. Make a living doing it. Hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? Is we have got to change this vibration, this frequency that is going around. It's like I don't even recognize it, because when I was a kid, we would go out. My grandpa had a 500 acres. We would go and have to bale hay or hay and go and do all that stuff. But we worked hard, but we got paid for it. When my son was born, it was about being indoors, playing on PlayStation or Xbox or whatnot. You couldn't get them to go outside. My parents had to come out and tell us to come. We'd be out playing hide and go seek. We would be playing out until dark. Our parents were screaming at us to come indoors. This generation is, you can't get the kids outside. We were out exploring and having fun and doing whatever. It's completely different. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that how things change and the energy changes. And you look at Jehovah's Witnesses, they got us so paranoid about everything. When I came out of being a Jehovah's Witness, I didn't hear a thing on other religions talking about Satan so much as when I was a Jehovah's Witness. Everything you could touch, you couldn't go to a swap meet. You want to buy a dresser drawers. You got to worry about dresser drawers.
They banned everything. They banned everything, didn't they, Daniel? It seemed like everything was.
They did.
Well, yeah. You know what? Let's take a quick little break and see if anyone is on the phone or anyone that wants to leave a comment, and just to keep it up to the audience.
No.
What's that?
I just wanted to let Daniel know that the scholarships for his daughter, if she has something she likes in school, like chemistry or computer science, to let her teachers know.
Sorry, I laughed. I'm laughing at the comments, not you. My bad.
They'll have scholarships for her.
Can I give you my number? Because you might be able to see, this is what I'm thinking about. He's homeschooled, so she's been homeschooled most of her life. So, and I know her. You look at the way the world's going. I understand why people. I was against it before, because I feel like you need to be out there and be able to adapt to people and experience things. But with the craziness of the world today, I get homeschooled a little bit better today.
What she could probably do then, she'd probably excel at an online college course.
She's going to graduate early. She's 13. And the way she's already got it structured, she's going to graduate from high school in the next 2 years.
I wish I'd done it. They wanted me to do it early. If she can do a college...
She's like
Hey, Pixie, can I ask you a question from the comment section?
Yeah.
Artsy Kim, because this wasn't directed to you, but it made me think of you. Artsy Kim, or at least what you think of it. Artsy Kim says that there's an Alex Jones video game, which there is, and she's going to play it, and it's supposed to help wake people up. How do you feel about that? I don't know where you stand on him, but how do you feel on?
That strikes me as very humorous that he would be
he's like a big guy with a gun, and that's all I've seen is a picture of it. But
that's hilarious to me that he would be turned into a game. But the young people, they're not fooled because they got all these computer things and all this knowing how to find research and things that I had to go to school to learn way back when we didn't have computers and stuff. These kids aren't fooled now.
Pixie, it's like, and not to throw anybody off, they can go do their own research and judge or whatever. I'm an empath, so as an empath, you have to be very careful, because not only can you feel people's energy, you can take it on as it's it becomes you. So you have to be very careful. My daughter
if she's graduating at 13, she can go right in with her GED to a college level course online. And maybe she could, or community college or something.
A community college.
Because like EMTs and nurses, the nurse makes more than the doctor because they don't have to pay the insurance for the offices.
You see, my
good
daughter,
point, Pixie.
So
I agree with you. You're a really good critical thinker. You always think outside the box. Good point.
Well, that's just what some friends of mine told me.
My daughter, let me tell you about my daughter. My daughter can literally either be talking to you on the phone or meet you in person and tell you all about yourself. She reads she's so intuitive. She don't even have to be around you and just say, be careful of this or be careful of that. It's an automatic. She just sees it.
Well, that's good. She might be a good nurse. What is she interested in? Does she want to be a geologist? Does she want to be a nurse? Does she want to open her own restaurant? I'm not going to put my own thing on her, but I'm just letting you know the scholarships are in the chemistry classes, and the scholarships are when you talk to the teacher and say, hey, I really like more education. But if she's homeschooled, get out with a GED as soon as possible and get into a program. The witnesses were right on that one thing.
That's a good point. I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Good.
You see, she actually,
sorry.
And this is where I'm trying to be careful, because I don't want to send her to the wrong direction.
You won't. Any coursework is going to be good. Any coursework will be good. Electricians are taking women now if she's good in the math.
Hey guys, if I can interrupt just 1 second, just to answer a comment in the comment section. Carol Paradise asked, Eric, can you remind me the name of the topic of this and how between you and Daniel, something like that. The topic was disfellowshipping, and today's text was about disfellowshipping. So I thought it was ironic. And the reason why we brought it up is because every month they either have 1 to 2 daily texts of disfellowshipping. So that's how we got here. I by no means Daniel or Pixie or anybody if I interrupt you, but I want to involve the people in the comment section since I have access to it. Is someone trying to get through?
Eric, I was going to tell you that the daily texts for the year are taken from the last year's Watchtowers.
Really?
No, I didn't.
Wow. No kidding. So they're just recycling all their garbage.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've worked as a copy editor, and I'm like, where did I read this before? And then I figured it out.
You did the research?
People don't give your power away, do you? We got a life here to have, and do you, and be fabulous, and don't
Pixie,
give
your Watchtower's worst nightmare. Somebody who could do the research.
Thank you. Good night. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Pixie.
My cooking tip to everyone. The bag of raw cranberries, it takes 10 minutes. Do the cranberry sauce on the bag.
Sounds good.
They do the cranberry sauce on the bag. What do you mean? You
get a bag of raw cranberries. It's I think 2 cups of water and a cup of sugar, and it takes 10 minutes, and it's delicious. You can put it on ice cream. It's healthy. It's nothing like the can. Anyway, have fun.
good.
Bye.
Awesome. And you know what? I want to share real quick, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we might be seeing like we got a wide topic here, but if you actually analyze it and look at it, what disfellowshipping does to somebody, and when you actually wake up. So think about it. You're programmed as a Jehovah's Witness. You confess your sin, or maybe you're just, everybody's different. Maybe somebody was caught and they just had to fess up. Or maybe
Hey, Daniel. Hey, Daniel. Daniel.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I'm just going to make a little announcement. Whoever has their phone on, it seemed to go away right now, but there was background noise. I could hear Rick going. So if anyone's on, and if anyone wants to talk too, by the way, just chirp in at any time. But I heard some background noise, and if someone was trying to come in, go ahead. But otherwise, just mute your phone. But did anyone want to come in before Daniel finishes what he wants to say? Okay, go ahead, Daniel.
All right.
Sorry, buddy. I was hearing some background noise, and
I lost my thought.
I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Let's see here. I had something, but I don't remember what it was now. Let me think.
I know I did that to you. I apologize.
No, you're fine. It's not you.
But we were talking about the disfellowshipping arrangement, and we were getting how talking about the elders and just how they're been abusing us, both male and female. I mean, they get into our bedroom. There's no boundaries what these guys will do. They get into something we smoke, if we drink too much, if we swore. I knew one guy who he found out another brother, or no, it wasn't even a brother. It was just another worldly guy that had slept with his wife, and he was a witness, and he punched him out. And the elders said, "Are you sorry that you did that?" And he said, "No, I'd do it again." And they disfellowshipped him for it.
I just and I'm not trying to make the show about my daughter, but for the ones that have been on here for years, you're my family.
Mm.
And a lot of you know my story and whatnot. It's just to have your 13-year-old daughter wake up and she tells you, I kid you not, it's probably been a month, maybe. I don't know. I might be losing track of time because the way I'm working right now is crazy hours and days, and you lose track of days. But my daughter is talking to me. I knew something was wrong with who her mom married. Was supposed to be a Jehovah's Witness. And my daughter just says, I just wish my mom would skip the meetings for a week and she'd be a better person. And I was like, okay, wait a minute here. Well, what did my daughter just say? You're backtracking, and it's like, okay, do I reply to that? Do I just let it go by and say nothing? And I listened to my daughter. I said, what does you mean, sweetheart? And she goes, I just think my mom would be better if she just skipped a week of the meetings and focused on herself. And I just said, well, how do you feel? How do you feel? Would that give you a relief as well? And then she just fully opened up from that point. And I was like,
that's awesome.
I got emotional, but I was hiding it from her.
Yeah.
Because I saw the awakening. And that's why when you came up with different ideas of our show, of our name, and you said something about awakening, it connected with me because it is powerful when you see the loved ones, whether it's your best friend, it's your wife, or your husband, your children, whoever it could be, when they start to wake up, as much as you want to just run and grab a hold of them and hold on to them and hug them, you got to go at a pace because you're excited. That's my daughter. I wanted to grab a hold of her. It brought me so many different emotions, but I didn't want to show them because I didn't.
And it's a victory because when David Swain declared war on us, he's after your daughter, and you reclaimed her. You know, you her mind is open. She intuitively got out of it because let's face it, Watchtower's biggest kryptonite, if they were Superman, their biggest kryptonite would be social media. You know, all of it. YouTube, Facebook, every single bit of it. Some people asked if I'm on Facebook. I am on it, and if Debbie Moore wants to give Carol Paradise my Facebook page, I meet people on it, but I don't respond to like messages or not messages, but like posts and stuff. You know, but yeah. Anyways, I just to add a point. To the show, something that Fran and Joe does so well is that they unite people, but really like Rick's the guy that did it, and then Fran and Joe have the most successful show going around our country, our great country, America, until it falls apart because we're almost there. But I thought I'd throw that in there. That I always like to. I have no problem meeting new people, and I just respond better through text messages. I don't like Facebook at all. I'm not like I'm more of a private person, not to put myself out there. That's why there's no picture on my Facebook page. But my last name is Kubler, Cubler. I'm not. Somebody in the comment sections earlier said that. And forgive me for not remembering your name, but they said it was brave of us to give our names. Yeah, my name is Eric James Kubler. I'm not afraid of Watchtower or anybody listening in. My parents are Martin and Debbie, and they're all good standing Jehovah Witnesses. Don't we all have a story to tell? There's always something. But look, I'm just before I let Daniel take over. Is there anyone in the phone line that wanted to say anything? Because we don't mean to hog it. We love to hear from anyone. Just give you a second to unmute yourself if you want to call in. If you don't, I'll let Daniel say something.
Star six. You gotta want to speak up. You got star 6. I was gonna say my name is Bond, James Bond.
I wish my name was James Bond. That's a badass name.
No, it is badass. And you know, taking us a full circle with you, because obviously our topic for tonight was disfellowshipping, and there was, I don't even know, we're gonna have to do a second show on it because you can't cover. I don't think you can cover everything of what the Watchtower does to a person's psyche, what it does to lose your family when you feel like you're standing up for truth. See, you look at...
Well, like, hey, to go along with what you're saying, the newest video, right, with Jeffrey Winder, he said not to get involved. An elder shouldn't get involved with a man's headship, right? Well, say the man decides that he doesn't want to disfellowship or shun his daughter that got disfellowshipped. So like, do you respect the headship? No, you're going to disfellowship him for it.
No.
They're double speak. They talk two sides, out of their mouth like that. they talk out of their ass, Daniel. You know, they make no sense. And I think that I think they're making such bad decisions, and I don't mean to be preachy, but I think there's a possibility that God could be confusing these men because say there's a chance that God's name is Jehovah, right? Or he at least accepts a version of it. They've ran his name through the mud. I'd imagine he'd be pretty angry.
If okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this exactly where people won't be offended or be when you look at the energy of the world and you look at vibrations. So some people will be asking, well, you're talking about energy, you're talking about vibration. It's people's interaction. It's what like say, I'll give you an example. I'll give you one example that I know people have had. Back in the day before cell phones, your home phone rang. How many of you out there ever experienced you knew who was calling you? You didn't have caller ID back then.
Nope.
But you knew it was your mama or it was your brother or it was somebody. That is intuition. That is energy. You were feeling it. But you were like, how did you know? Well, I'm saying now you get advanced into the world of today where we're at. We have grown, but some people shut stuff off. They don't want to listen. They just want to be told what to do. And this is the one thing I'm telling you guys right now that could help you. This is what I learned from leaving the Watchtower. On my way out, something hit me one day. You can be a spiritual person. I'm going to start with religion. You can be a religious person and you go to church. You just want to be told what to do. Tell me what to do, I'll go and do it. There's others of us that are spiritual, that when you're told what to do, you ask why. Why, Daddy? Why, Mama? It's like you're a baby.
And then you're disrespectful for doing that. But really, it's because you're using your God-given right. Even in the scriptures, it says to research, basically. I know I'm not quoting it perfectly, but it's telling us to make to judge things and to examine things. We also the Bible says not to put your trust in nobles and men. So what do the Jehovah's Witnesses do? The Jehovah's Witnesses are putting trust in faith and worship in 9 fat bastards in New York over their beautiful son and daughter-in-law and vice versa, because all 4 of them are shunning us. And it's disgusting, Daniel. I know there's a lot of people out there with stories too, and what they've gone through with this arrangement. It's hurt us all.
That's what I'm getting to, is if you go from, say, it doesn't matter if you're a baby, you're an adult, but we all go through our stages, right? Now, if you want to use the Bible, okay, whether you believe it or not, look at the Bereans. Why were the Bereans considered honorable people? Because they didn't take what was thrown at them as necessarily true. They wanted to go and research it to make sure that what they were being taught and told was true. And in the Bible, they were considered honorable people. We're, as a Jehovah's Witness, could you ever go and do such a thing? Could you go and say, well, you're talking to the elder, I have questions about this and that. I need to go and do my research. Would that be acceptable? Hell no. I mean, maybe you get lucky. You get a brother that's got a sense on his head of some sort and says, yeah, I guess go and do your research, but majority of it, you just asked the question you should not have asked. What people don't realize is the moment you're either born in, and especially when you get baptized, your question days are over. They are over.
You're right.
You've already committed yourself. They view you in a certain way. You start asking questions, red flags go all over the place. And now they're looking at how to handle you, how to deal with you. And it should never, ever be like that. Because if anything, the brands could have been questions, could have been said, well, like, why are you asking so many questions? The truth's right in front of you. Why are you doing this? No, they were committed as honorable people. When I look at the Watchtower and I look at the Bible, they're two separate things.
Absolutely. Isn't it? I mean, I agree with you, man. Hey, just to interrupt you real quick on the comment section, there's a good comment. Even if it's a little off topic. I was in the organization for so long that from Wild Wall. I was in the organization for so long that I remember working on some of the first quick build or 3-day Kingdom halls all the way from Florida to New York State. And I lived in Rhode Island, and I had family, and my wife is from Florida, or have family, and my old wife is from Florida, not had. It feels like had because they're not in my life. But anyways, yeah, I connect with that a lot. And isn't it sad, Wild Wall, that we end up finding out that all of the repairs from like the hurricane damages and stuff, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but that ended up being all fraudulent because we thought Watchtower was doing this, and we were all doing this for charity basically, but it wasn't. Watchtower was collecting the insurance checks. That's how crooked they are. And it's like, when I learned that really disgusted me, because then I started to think deeper about it. And I thought, wow, so what else is going on besides these scams? Well, what happens, right, when Watchtower free employees are doing a roof, and some of them are skilled, but some of them aren't, and the roofs usually get warranties, and the guy comes back and fix it. But these guys did it for free, and it's like there is no warranty. So you're stuck with a bad roof, a good possibility, depending on who worked on it. I when I learned all that, I was disgusted because I used to do RBC, not that part of it, but spraying, like with a spray gun, painting doors for them, and it was all a waste of time, But I thank you for that comment, Wild Wall. I thought that was pretty good. Naples, Florida. My brother used to live there, and I do have my brother's brother-in-law lives there. But yeah, anyways, sorry to interrupt you, buddy. I always like to get the people involved. No, I never helped in hurricanes, Wild Wall. I did local work, just like finish work in the RBC. But I know people who did. Friends of mine that I used to have that did it out there. They would just to add to the subject a little more. I know we got off topic, but they would get their own tools, their trailers filled with it, bringing their trucks over there. It was a lot of work that they did all for free, and then Watchtower profited over it. That's how disgustingly monstrous these guys are with just money, I guess. They're schemers. Sorry to get off topic, Daniel. You there, buddy? Well, anyways, Daniel might be on a break real quick, but yeah, thanks for adding that. I don't mind going a little left to the right, or we don't. I have to always stay on topic. And if there's anyone on the phone that wants to talk, I think everyone's quiet by now, but that's cool.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to use the restroom real quick. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no, it happens to all of us, bro. We're human. I don't. You know what? It doesn't happen to Rick for some reason. It's like Rick's inhuman. I don't know how he does it. He must cut off coffee or something. Because like Rick said, when you do a live radio show, you usually like get a commercial break. Now brought to you by Progressive. Like you don't get that here.
Hey, by the way, I just saved 10% on my insurance.
There you go.
What I want to say to people that are listening, whether you're a first-time listener or you've been on here years with the rest of us or longer than me, is how do you guys feel about this fellowshipping, and how do we help others because you got to look at it. When life throws situations at us, some of us handle things one way and some a different way. And I think this fellowshipping is one of the most disgusting things. I don't know if I can compare it to pedophilia. That's disgusting. But I guess the point is, it's the damage that it does to one and their psyche. So whether it's pedophilia, whether it's disfellowshipping, whether it's whatever it is, how do we help people that walk away from that, realize they've been duped, but they've been screwed on so many levels, no point intended, but how do you help them move forward in life today to be able to readjust and to be able to realize there is a life outside of this religion? Because you don't have to be molested to walk out of this religion and people still being stuck, literally stuck, where it's almost like you talk to them and it happened 20 years ago, their life is still representing that, and they're still living that experience to today. They're stuck.
You know what you were saying, that there's life after religion. Dan and Angela have a program on their YouTube show, called that, and they make a good point, because there really is life after religion. If anybody's listening that's a PIMQ or somebody that's on the inside, and you're just having doubts or whatever, the sooner you can get out, the better. Because the longer you're in, the more damage you're going to receive. And Daniel's stories tonight have proven that. And look at the hoops that Daniel had to go through to get his daughter back. And luckily she seems very empathic and intuitive and figured it out. And it doesn't take much. Watchtower's little circus tricks aren't working anymore. They're washed up. They're buffoons. That's why today's daily text is about this fellowshipping again, because they can't help but just pound it into everybody to keep all the bleeding members that they have leaving to stay in.
Hello?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Say it again. I love, because you just said it very powerfully. Your circus tricks. What did you say? Say it again. I want the audience to hear what you said again. They're circus tricks, or whatever you said.
They're circus tricks. They're circus tricks. It's like the Wizard of Oz. It's like when the curtain is unveiled. Like they have no tricks left. They're doing the same thing. They're just lying. Because what does a liar have? All a liar can do is lie and lie and lie until the lie becomes so ridiculous that it's completely obvious that it's not the truth. And that's where they're facing right now, because they're changing their policies so drastically. I am so interested how the witnesses are going to respond to January's announcement, can you imagine being a witness, right? Like my parents in their mid 60s, and they're going to hear an announcement that, hey, by the way, yeah, gee, you know, we don't know what's going to happen to these guys. So people can repent like the last minute in the Great Tribulation. That's going to piss because like the witnesses aren't always the best people, and that's going to piss a lot of people off that were like, well, I sacrificed my whole life and somebody can just crawl right in. Are you kidding me? I think it's going to cause division within the organization. I think, and they're causing it themselves. They always talk about don't cause division, but they're doing it. I think they've lost their minds. These guys. I don't think they can handle with the apostates and the media and the governments coming down on them. They don't know how to tread water. You know what I mean, Daniel?
No, I hear you. It's sorry, I just stepped outside of my hotel.
Oh, you're good, man.
I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. This is my first few days. I've never been here before, but you know, you look at. I was just thinking tonight when I went outside my hotel. I'm in an unfamiliar territory, and you got all these people out in this area, and you come out, you know, and you know, in this community is predominantly black, right? Mm-hmm. Which I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. But they will greet you, they will watch you, and because they don't know what you're up to, so it's kind of like I love it. I actually love it, but you would have to understand it from a empath, because when you feel energy, you already know what or let's just say you're an intuitive person. You already know, like, oh, this person, you're gonna go around the corner. You ain't gonna walk by them because something's up, right? It's just something about being in an an area. And I was just thinking to myself, as a Jehovah's Witness, I was taught to judge. Now they say that that's not true. We go out and we give the great message, right? And what a joke that is. Because in reality, what they teach you, if somebody slams a door in your face, what do? You dust a foot, you dust it off your feet, you walk away, they're going to die at Armageddon. And you know how many times? I tell you, this is one of the most disgusting times in my life. I was a teenager. I was auxiliary pioneering. And we were in, normally we had a lot of like country territory, like a lot of rural, but in this one territory, we had like, you're going into where like rich people lived, you know, like big Victorian style.
Oh yeah, I've done territory like that. Yeah, like in Newport, Rhode Island, which is a touristy spot. It's a really expensive spot. Yeah. Like it's the most expensive spot in Rhode Island. So I feel you.
The conversation was, when they die at Armageddon, which house are you going to have?
I know that shit happened, dude. I know, it's crazy.
One brother would say, "I'm taking this house," and I'm sitting there thinking in my own head, I'm thinking to myself, "Wait a minute, that person just died. They were killed by God, and I'm going to take his house." I'm sorry. I don't know. Something is twisted and, okay, I ain't going to use that word. It is foobarred. It is twisted and foobarred. Something is wrong in that concept. If you could actually go, oh, I went to his store. He didn't want to take the Watchtower away. So when he dies, guess what, baby? I'm taking his house. How in the hell did we ever become that type of a people that we don't even Did you know that person? That person could have been the most loving person in the world. Maybe that person was rich and he gave his money to charity for different things. Do we know that? No, we just shot him because they didn't take our Watchtower and Awake magazine. You see,
And you know what? You know what, too, brother? To go along with what you're saying, Watchtower thinks that all politicians, are going to die at Armageddon. But here's the thing: like, yeah, I'm going to admit a lot of politicians are wicked, corrupt as f. But there's been some good ones that have proved by their actions, like instead of naming big time politicians, so I don't piss people off, I'll name small time ones like Mayor Giuliani, right? He cleaned up New York. New York's a shithole again. Buddy Cianci. Now I know he got indicted and he got prosecuted and put in prison for what did he do? Racketeering, I think, with the mafia when he was a mayor. But he cleaned up Providence and everybody loved him. And I'm not. I think Giuliani had a straight nose and he's the better example. He had a clean nose. I mean. But to say that like all these guys like don't get involved with politics, Desiree's mom would always be like, Desiree, we can't get involved, just if she had like talked about a political opinion. But like Desiree would always say to her mother, all truth matters. It's not just the truth, like all truth matters. And the witnesses, they want you to be blind and dumb and stupid and not critical thinkers, because that's why they don't want you to go to college, because you're going to be away from the cult mentality and you're going to open your mind to higher education and critical thinking. That's what they used to teach in school. I don't know if they still do now. It's kind of corrupt. Another subject. But anyways, Daniel, sorry to get off topic, but just to throw that in there. Go ahead, brother.
No. I was about to say the same thing. I think I took us off topic. And because we're talking about disfellowshipping, and I think I kind of went off the fence a little bit. But what I want to say to people, because whether you're old, new, you're just coming out, or you've been out for a long time, it has affected us all in different levels. That's why we have to be careful to not judge but love each other, because you can look at, say you go through a certain situation and you were treated by the brothers one way, you might come out with a different perspective, as you don't necessarily understand it, but it's like, oh, that's in my past. Right. Another person be like, that scar is, they're tripping. They're tripping on it because they can't process it. They can't digest it. What just happened to me? Why did they do that to me? I wasn't that way. I wasn't trying to deceive anybody. Why would they put that label on me? Why would they disfellowship me? And so we have to be open-minded to understand that there are so many ways that things affect people differently. And so that's why it's so important we don't judge people. And we love people and accept people, because you don't know their story and how, even if their story was the same as yours, and you could say, oh my God, I want to do the exact same thing, you might handle it differently than they did. It doesn't make you or that other person a better person. It's just how your perception and how you deal with it, because we all have different ways of dealing with stuff. So if our subject matter is about disfellowshipping, I'm going to tell you, I had one of the most bizarre ones, not the worst. I'm not saying I had anything worse than anybody else, but I had a bizarre.
You there, buddy? Well, Daniel? Well, it looks like Daniel might have got cut out or something, or I wonder if the phone. You there, buddy? I know what happened. Rick needs to reboot the phone line. I don't know what to do here. Can anyone hear me? In the comment section, what are you guys hearing right now? Can you hear me, or is it going beep, beep, beep?
Here's Eric. Here's Eric. Well, what happened?
On my YouTube, right, and all of a sudden, it went beep, 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 like that disconnected sound that you get on the phone, and nobody can hear anyone on the phone line or anything
Yeah, I'm
on
trying
YouTube.
to.
And we got people in the comment section, and they're participating, and it's up to you if you want to end it.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what went wrong. I'm just trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to do. I said,
Can you send me, when I tried to get on the link, it says waiting for the host, because I downloaded it and tried to get back in.
so you stop and try to get back in, or what?
Can you let me in? It said it was waiting on the host when I tried to because I got kicked out of it, so I tried to get back in. Everything was smooth, and all of a sudden, do you think the phone lines need to be reset? But again, you got a Sunday show, so if you want to end it here, buddy.
Well, just wait a second. Just give me a second here to figure this out.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what happened here.
We got Curious Pete on here now too, and that's getting spicy. I like that. I like him, but it's up to you.
Well, just hold on 1 second. Let's just wait 1 second and see what's going on here.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Sir.
trying to bring you in here.
I got an echo from you, so it's tough.
I'm not sure why you're not coming on.
You want me to try to get on again?
Yeah, try once again. Yep.
I'm gonna hang up with you, all right?
Yeah, go ahead. Jeez.
Welcome into the live Fixed Screens conference calls. We thank you for joining in. To speak up and talk, press *6 on your telephone. When you are done talking, press *6 to mute yourself. Remember, when you are unmuted, your phone is a microphone and picks up on all noises in the background. We hope you enjoy the programs tonight. You will now be placed into the conference.
If you are the host, press star now. Please enter your PIN followed by... Thank you. There are 6 participants in the conference. Recording did not start because your storage is full. Please log in and delete recordings or purchase more storage from your account.
Someone's going to start talking.
Hey, Brad.
Oh my God! You said a couple seconds. Who said Brad?
It's me, Eric. Hey, XJW Curious Pete. How you doing, my friend?
Call.
And hey, Debbie. Everybody, I'm back on.
What happened to the call? Where did everybody go?
Is this Daniel?
Just you and Brad and Eric. Oh yeah, I guess I said you, didn't I?
You said you. Me, Brad, or Brad, Eric, and I is the way to say it.
What happened to everybody? What happened?
I think maybe every 6 hours, sometimes Rick has to reboot the phones, and it could have cut us all out. So I'm glad. Thanks everyone for sticking around. The comment section still seems to be going. Brad told everyone we're having technical difficulties because he knows how it is. A lot of people do. When the show goes on and on, it's almost like I forget to tell Rick we should always reboot it every time a new show or the last show comes on.
Well, hold on one second, Eric. This is Rick at the 6th grade.
Oh, hey, buddy. Yeah.
So, no, what? Well, the phone went off, but there was no reason why you shouldn't have been on. That's what's confusing.
So that was confusing. Yeah, huh? I know you're right, because usually I would still be on, huh?
Rick, I was talking to. All of a sudden, nobody was there, and all of a sudden,
well,
this is our brother from Canada, or wherever. Oh, I'm sorry, where are you from? Is it Canada or Australia?
Australia. Brad's from Australia.
Australia. Yeah, he comes on, like, all of a sudden he comes on. I'm like, oh, I know you, but nobody else was on. I was like, oh, okay, we just entered another dimension.
Well, what was weird, I mean, seriously, what was weird is the telephone line went off, but Eric should have stayed on. I have no idea why he went off too. That doesn't.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for fixing it, Rick.
All right. Yep.
Hey, Rick, before you go, at any, I know you got to do Sunday shows, so at any time that you feel like you've had enough, just let us know.
Bring it up to about midnight, 12:30 or so. That's fine, and we'll end it then. But Go ahead, okay?
Okay, buddy. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest. All right.
So hey, we got Brad on here from Australia. It's badass. I love him, man. He has shared so much, but this shows that it doesn't matter where you're at in the world today. You can be touched by the Watchtower and what that does to you. And we're all the same. We're all going through these experiences. And then getting back to this fellowshipping, because that's our topic tonight, is we all can have a part in understanding what that does to you, what that does to your family, and all of us collectively. And it's sad that our
what did you and Brad talk about? Can you catch me up on it, just in a brief?
Well, it was just it's just simple. It was about this fellowshipping, and in the Watchtower, the scriptures they use, it doesn't justify the the damage that does to one's psyche. There's people that have been left. You say, the saddest part of it is somebody will say to you, "Oh, yeah, I know there's been people out a year or two, but there's people that only were out 6 months."
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine yourself isolated. If everything you knew in the way that we were taught, so you don't have worldly friends, all your friends are in the congregation. If you have family and they're in the congregation, and you honestly look at me right in the face and say 6 months is no big deal. No big deal. Just do your time.
What, 6 months for what, disfellowshipping?
Yeah. I'm saying shun.
They kind of do that as a guideline almost. Do you agree? That's kind of 6 months is almost the minimum, or
There is only one purpose why Jehovah's Witnesses do shunning. One purpose and one purpose only. is to break you. It's
Yeah.
like going into the military, signing up as an 18-year-old or how old you are, and you go into the military and they take you to boot camp. That boot camp, I don't care. And this is not knocking America or the military or whatnot, but their desire is to break you, to mold you into be the perfect soldier. And
Yep, exactly.
You're not thinking I'm signing up to be a perfect soldier. I'm just, hey, that sounds good. Go preach about God, go preach about Jesus, whatever. You're not thinking if you fuck up what the punishment is. See, that's where the difference is. So why I use the military is because it is designed to break you, to mold you, to make you a perfect soldier. I believe, and I caught on this later on, this is just my perception. I believe Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower, uses disfellowshipping for that purpose, and they want you to be disfellowshipped.
Yeah, you know what, Daniel? I think it's a great analogy. I really do. I think it's a great analogy because they broke my father in that way when he got disfellowshipped for smoking pot. And I don't know the full story, but my father told me, an elder who I knew, and I knew his son, who I liked a lot, who was older than me, like my father's age. But he told the father to go F his mother in the Kingdom Hall parking lot and screamed it at him. I'm like, damn. I'm like, wow, my dad used to not take shit from anybody. But like,
wow.
but they broke this man to the point where my brother had a baby with a woman who was disfellowshipped. My brother was disfellowshipped, and this piece of crap elder Jeff Giddy in the East Providence congregation in Rhode Island, he told my parents that they weren't allowed to show the baby off in the congregation, even though the parents were sitting in the car waiting for her to bring it back. So this guy had the odd. So we're talking about disfellowshipping. This guy disfellowshipped an infant, a 1-year-old. Can you believe that? And it gets worse. This guy had, because he's the Kobe, the coordinator body of elders, and he there was a good friend of mine that we hung out with when I was disfellowshipped, and he got disfellowshipped and called me up. He's like, "Let's hang out." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we did, and I knew what was going on with him, and he told me at one point that his kids said, "Daddy, will you get reinstated so we can too?" Because they weren't invited to like gatherings or like be with the kids or anything because he was disfellowshipped, and so the kids felt disfellowshipped. So you want to talk about the most lowest you can go, innocent babies. I guess they are enemies of God, aren't they, Stephen Lett? That's as low as you can go to shun a kid. You could call it soft shunning, right? And this father, he was a truck driver, dude, and I made the meetings because like I was trying to go back too, and he was as well. And he was. I got to the meeting, and I was walking inside, and he was in the parking lot, and he was passed out, and in the car just sitting there, and I'm like, I wonder if he's gonna come in. So I went inside, and he called me the next day, and he's like, dude, I tried to make the meeting, but he's like, I passed out in the parking lot. My kids are like, Daddy, are we going in? And he's like, no, I got to go home. I'm exhausted. He's a truck driver. And he's a hardworking truck driver, and he has to unload all the stuff that he has loaded up. So it's like hard work. And he goes from like if he lives in Rhode Island, he goes from like New Hampshire, Vermont, maybe, and then all the way to like Pittsburgh, like areas like that, maybe sometimes New York, delivering glass. But you know how it is. You've been a truck driver, and to be disfellowshipped and trying to raising his wife's in the loony bin, and he's raising 4 kids on his own. guy's a bull. That's what Watchtower does to you. They break you. You know, his wife went crazy, and not that it justifies anything, but like she was checked out of the marriage, and he had an affair, and they were separated anyways, and they disfellowshipped him for it, and they busted his balls because they said that when he tried to get reinstated, they said, "Have you had any contact with that woman that you had, sex with?" And he said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, we can't reinstate you." And so that proves what the Daily Text said today when it says to cut off all associations, because that man went through that. He told me he got rejected and he had to wait. Now this man that like snorted a line of cocaine off a stripper's ass when he was disfellowshipped, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with that. Now he shuns me and he won't talk to me because I don't believe in Watchtower. He views me as an apostate. And it's like, yeah, okay. I reminded him of that, though, just to throw it in his face.
Well,
but there's so much damage. Let's talk about one more thing with the disfellowshipping arrangement. How many people here have been disfellowshipped, and you lose everything? Jehovah hates you, and you lose your family and your friends, and you have nothing. You literally have nothing. And you say, screw it. How many people have made bad decisions, maybe done drugs that they don't do anymore, or regretted, or got hurt by it, or alcohol, or suicidal thoughts, or, there's so much pain that comes from it. Being around the wrong party that you don't even want to be a part of because you were gullible or desperate to be around somebody, and you got wrong place at the wrong time, wrapped around the wrong people. There's so many bad scenarios, and there's so many stories that I've heard of people. And so what Watchtower does is they don't bring the best out of you; they bring the worst out of you.
Just I don't know how to explain this. You have a gut feeling through your life something's wrong, even if it's from a little boy, little girl. You just know something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And you get into the whole disfellowshipping thing. That goes against everything of, if you would say, I'm trying to how to put it in perspective, I guess, of even Christianity, or if you just read the Bible as you read the Bible. People walked up to Christ or John the Baptist or whoever and just got baptized. You didn't go between three men and answer 120 questions, to prepare you and say, well, you need to understand the organization, the Holy Spirit, did this and that. No. Why weren't they able? And this is a question I asked my family. How come they could just go and walk up and say, I want to be baptized, and you were baptized? Now, that would almost look like a modern day religion, right? Like you go into a Baptist church, you go into a Lutheran church, whatnot. Are they going to deny you being baptized? No. They're going to accept you. You walk in there and you accept Christ, bam, you go get baptized. That's what they were doing in the Bible. Why is the Watchtower making you sit down with three men, regardless of your age, and answering how many questions? I don't remember now if it was 80 or it was 120. But basically, you had to understand, but you also had to understand something that is not biblical. You had to accept the Watchtower or the governing body, faithful slave, as the one that God's channel was. That was nothing in the Bible. When they went to get back with John the Baptizer and different ones, whoever they went to get baptized, They did not have to go through that. So I actually asked. I was auxiliary pioneering, and it hit me one day. I don't know why. So I asked an elder. And he says, well, back then they didn't have as many religions as we have today. So because there's so many different religious beliefs, we have to ask the question. And I sat there, I kid you not, it was the one and only time I stood up to an elder. I said, you're kidding me, right? He goes, what do you mean? I said, that is nowhere in the scriptures. If we're supposed to take from what the Bible says, and we're not supposed to add or take away from the scriptures, and the baptism is one of your most sacred things that you do as your relationship between you and God, how could it be more sacred if somebody walks up to John the Baptist and says, I accept, I want to be baptized? Oh no. 200 years later.
Daniel, you're absolutely right. And if I could just like add to your story of my personal experience, is that I got denied to be baptized the first time. You know why? I didn't know who the governing body were to Jehovah, like where they stood in his organization. This was like the 90s, and then I had to wait a whole year, and then I wanted to get baptized in the convention, not the district convention, but I ended because I'm not shy, but I don't like spotlight. I'm not shy to speak my mind in front of a crowd, but but at the same time, I'm a contradiction. I don't like I wouldn't want to be dunked in front of that many people. It's uncomfortable. But anyways, just to add along to what you're saying, you know. You still there, brother?
Here is where it bothers me. This is why it bothers me so much. Okay, if you're actually a believer, because that's the way you were taught. Now we can all change and go different directions. I'm not judging nobody for anything because we're all grown, we're all learning together, right? But
Sure.
Let's just say you're on that track of that belief system. These men have the power to tell you whether, you're approved to be baptized or not. Show me again in the Bible where it says that. Show me where somebody came up on the Baptist says, you're not ready yet. You're too young. You're too old, or you're this, or you're that. It's not biblical.
No, they brought him in like the nearest body of river and just dunked him, right? I think that's how it went. It was like, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior? Boom. Baptized. I'm sorry, brother. Did I interrupt you? I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
Sorry. I took a bite of a cracker, and when you started talking, so I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good, man. When you go on for an hour or so, we're all human.
No, it's
You know what? If I could share something real quick about like baptism and stuff. There was a YouTube video that was like, I don't know. It was like years ago. I don't know how many. Let's say 5. Just for the sake of argument. But it was a YouTube video of this, like, if I was to guess her age, I would say somewhere between 12 and 14, you know, like preteen, teen, somewhere around there. And she was getting baptized, and everyone was like, how so beautiful, all these witnesses. And I left a comment, and I said, laughing out loud, and I said, I hope this girl doesn't get disfellowshipped and lose everything and make a mistake and lose her whole world or something like that. I said, maybe she'll be the lucky one and never have to be in the elders room. And then I upset a bunch of J-dubs, and they started saying, "Oh, there's always a negative one." And then someone said, "Satan's after us." And it just, I know it's very minor to bring up, but it just shows the mentality of the witnesses and like just how they act. I have a little activism that I did. I crashed a cart. I don't know if I sent you the video or not, Daniel, but I crashed a cart, and I put my phone on video audio, but I didn't want to record them, so I put it down, and I started like telling them who I was and what happened to me about like with the disfellowshipping arrangement. And I told them that well, I didn't say collectively because it's collectively, and I chose to use my numbers as a tactic. I said I've had 9 reinstatement letters to try to get back in, and you guys won't let me back in. And I gave this long speech, and you know what? One guy, he wouldn't look at me. He was looking off into the sunset, wouldn't even make eye contact with me. The other woman was smirking, and the fat guy that was sitting on the bench was actually listening to me. And you know what he told me? He said, it's in Jehovah's hands. And I said to him in the video, and maybe I'll play it someday. I don't know if Rick would approve of it or not. I didn't say anything bad or make our community look bad, but I was passionate. So I had a tone in my voice, but I wasn't mean to them, but I know they take it as being mean. But I told them, when he told me that it's in Jehovah's hands, I said, that's an FU to me, to all of us. I said, because if it's in Jehovah's hands, then let it be in Jehovah's hands. Why are men getting involved? See what I'm saying? Like, men now have to take it in men's hands, because in my audio video got cut off at that point, at some point, but there wasn't much left of the video. It just kind of cut off. But I might not be going crashing Kingdom Halls or conventions. If there was someone in Tennessee that wanted to do that with me, I would. But that's part of my activism and how I get involved, bro.
Brother, I want to say to you, see, I already told you when you came up with this topic that you wanted to talk about tonight, I knew it was going to be powerful, because it hits us all at some level. And it's something that needs to be talked about, because there's people still hurting from that. And there's also people just coming out and might be experiencing that and trying to process it for themselves. So, excuse me, I got the hiccups. It is a powerful topic, because it hurts at so many different levels. It depends on if you got family in, or maybe you don't got family in, but your family is Jehovah's Witnesses. So say the rest of I hate this subject or this title, but say your parents, siblings are not in, but when you became affiliated with the Watchtower, your family became the Watchtower, and all of your friends are in there. So either way, you're fucked. You're screwed. So you experience that pain. And this is what it's about. And I already know my own battle wounds. I already know my scars. But I know there's people out there that have been far worse than I've ever experienced, because of the stories I've heard. And it makes you kind of step back and go, well, damn, if they can get through it. And that's how we heal. That's where it becomes therapeutical. That's where we can actually look at somebody and go, I love you. Thank you for sharing your story, because you know what? I gone through this and that, and that encouraged me. If you can survive, I can survive. That
Sure,
is our
man.
story. That's how we change the dynamics and the energy. We're not victims. This is the one thing that I want people to understand more than anything. We are not victims. We are survivors. We are survivors. There's two different patterns with that energy. You don't want to be a victim. You want to be a survivor. And
I think a big part of our show too, the awakening from the Watchtower, is because there is a awakening happening, right? There's an awakening happening in politically, religiously, in cults,
spiritually,
in all types of way, like opening up your third eye, if anyone out there knows what that is, and your chakras and all that. Your third eye is the most important thing to be open. It connects you to God, and it helps you.
Just real quick.
Yes, sir.
Can I just finish?
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. No, I'm sorry, Daniel.
Nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong, because we all bounce off each other. I appreciate that. It didn't offend me at all. What I was trying to get to the point is, anybody listening on the call, please feel free to join and hit your *6 button and join in with us, because this is about, we're sharing our stories and we're healing each other. And you don't realize the pain you're feeling right now, and your heart and your gut actually could inspire us, encourage us, as we can do to you. So if anybody's out there and wants to join in, please, we're just talking. Come in and join.
Absolutely.
Come in and join us. That's all I wanted to say, Eric. I apologize.
No. You can interrupt me at any time, and vice versa. I like the audience to talk and to give their experiences.
I love you, man.
I love you too, man. we have a good energetic connection together.
Yeah. I'll say this on the air, brother. I love you.
I love you too, man.
We can bounce things in our private conversation. We can bounce things off each other. We don't judge each other. We got different paths. We got different history, but yet we're not sitting there looking at each other or judging each other. We're like, oh, okay, that's why you're here, or why you're going here, or whatnot. And that's what, friends, it's all about. See, the thing was, being as a Jehovah's Witness, we were almost being taught to be like spies, like red flags. Oh, we got to go to the elders because this sister's talking this way, or this brother's talking this way. We got to be a little tattletale, or we got to feel like, oh, they're wrong. Why were they wrong? What did they say was wrong? Did they say something scripturally wrong? What was their thoughts? But see, we got so brainwashed, we couldn't think for ourselves until we woke up. And that's the beauty. I'm going to go back to my daughter again, because I'm going to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. I've always said this. It's love. And it's, whether it's one person at a time, it's love. You don't judge. You love. With my daughter, it didn't matter what my wife did to me. It didn't matter what I went through. My daughter didn't deserve to go through that. And she definitely didn't deserve to be told anything else other than she was loved, she was accepted, and she was enough. This had nothing to do with her. It was not her fault.
You have unconditional love, and you've proved that to your daughter. You never held a grudge against her for shunning you.
And not even her mother.
Yep.
Because her mother, you got to understand, we're complicated creatures. Because the reason why I say that is, you could go, Eric, you could be mistreated, been abused, and treated a certain way. And you can decide, you know what, screw that. I'm going to make my own life. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to treat people with love. I'm going to get married. I'm going to treat my kids with love. I'm going to treat my wife with love, and she's going to feel nothing but love. Another man could go through the same experience and pass it along. Beat his kids, beat his wife, do whatever. Now, I don't know why that happens. They say it's hereditary or it's passed down, but I call BS on that because I believe you have a choice. My father is a perfect example of that. He was abused. He had 8 brothers. They were lined up because they didn't pick enough cotton in the field while he was in the bar. And he had a shotgun pointed at my grandma. And then he says, well, which one am I going to shoot tonight? Because you didn't pick enough cotton. Well, where was he at? He was in the bar drinking. He died at 30-something. Alcohol poisoning. They found him with a whiskey bottle outside of a bar, dead. And the story there was he just drank himself to death. And it was my dad's happiest day. You know, my dad told me one time, and I knew he kind of had a hard time with it because the greatest day of my life is when my dad died. And I was like, wait a minute. I was trying to put myself in that situation. But when he said that his father lined him up each night with a shotgun and threatened to shoot them, and my dad slept with a big old, like a machete under his pillow, ready to kill his father because if he abused their mom. And then on top of it, my dad gets drafted into the Vietnam War.
It goes to prove Rick's point earlier tonight about the abuse in the Watchtower. You know.
Hey, Eric and Daniel, I'm just coming in here. This is Rick at the 6 Screens.
Yeah, buddy.
We'll go for another 5 minutes or so. Then we're going to wrap the program up. Okay.
All right, buddy.
I hope we did okay, Rick. I'm sorry if we talked too much about certain things, but
all right. Well, we'll get this. Because we had a little problem with the sound and what have you, let it go a few more minutes. But we'll end in 5 minutes, so that'll be good. Okay.
All right.
All right. Like, if we got 5 more minutes, let me just look in the comment section real quick and see if anyone had anything to say.
Well, I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, there we go. Cool. Who's this?
There we go. Boom. Well, we only have 5 minutes. This is Carrie on the suite.
Hey, Carrie.
Carol Paradise in YouTube.
Oh, hey, Carol Paradise. How are you doing?
I'm doing just wonderfully fine. And I've had a great night with you guys. I love the way you include us in YouTube. I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody else does also. But it's good to see you back, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be back, I can say.
It got real quiet. All right.
Yeah, you said your name's Kim and you're Carol Paradise. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay,
yes,
gotcha. I have to say it back.
I don't care anymore. I don't have anybody in the organization anymore. And, I was the only convert anyways, but I had other reasons to hide. But now, nah, because I can take care of myself, even though at my age, I'm still pretty feisty.
You do seem like you have a Spitfire personality.
Oh, I certainly do. I'm from Connecticut.
That's a good thing.
And you know how we are. Yeah.
Yeah. You said what?
Huh?
What did you say again? I'm sorry.
I said I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
So you know how we are here.
Yes, I do.
Vocal.
Connecticut was my neighbor.
We are.
Are you familiar with Westerly, Rhode Island?
Yeah. Well, I haven't been out in a long time,
But like, are you familiar with because it's the border of Connecticut and Rhode Island, Westerly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Jehovah's Witness friends there when I was a teenager, and I was in Westerly all the time. It's beautiful out in that border, and we'd go to Connecticut too a lot. But yeah, I love Connecticut. Although I don't agree with your lobster sandwiches in the butter. I like it with a light mayo and maybe a little scallion.
There you go. Well, we had a great show tonight. We had one little glitch, but no big deal.
Yeah.
But I want to say to all my YouTubers out there, you guys are wonderful. I love you all. I really do. I'm one of your old timers here, so I've been in this game for a long, long time. But I appreciate this show. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate everybody in the suite, which I love. And I hope they never take it away from us, because this is a wonderful place. It's a safe place. And Facebook also, although it's not as, there aren't very, very many people on there, but still, YouTube is, I guess, one of the biggest. But I appreciate
Sister, I want
it.
to say to you too is, I'm sorry if I talk too much about my daughter. I'm just excited.
Oh yeah, you
I just
you get on a roll, Daniel. You go on a roll, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You have a lot to say, and you have a lot of feelings and stuff.
Is that
nice
bad? Because you're a long time listener. You got more experience than me. Should I not share so much, or is it like
I think when you have a co-host, you ought to share the time a little bit. This comes from an old timer.
Right.
You should share. Give the other person a chance. I know how you can get carried away. I've been listening.
So I go too much. You think maybe a little bit?
Sometimes, yeah. You got to know when to stand back a little bit.
Okay.
And
no, but trust me, I'm asking you because you want to get a message out there, but you don't want to go over. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a balance. Yeah, balance.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I would say this in the beginning. It's important. It's the most important to let the callers come in.
Yeah.
I just want to say to this sister, since she's been on before me, but when I came on, I always have heard her. She's got words of wisdom, and I love it. And I just want to say I love you, sister, because we all learn and grow from each other.
And I love you too, sister. Thank you, Kim.
It's amazing. It's amazing what, if you actually stop and listen to what a person's sharing, it's not judgment, it's love. And you don't come from a place of judgment. You just come from a place of love. You're just simply sharing. And I love that about you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. You know what, you guys, I came on as an XJW way back in the AOL days, back in the 80s, and found this little chat room and belonged and cried a lot and learned a lot. And then when I finally got onto Facebook, a lot of these people found me, and we're friends to this day. So it's almost 30 years of this stuff. So it's wonderful. It really is wonderful to know that we're not alone.
Hey, Kim.
That's about it.
Hey, Kim.
That's about it.
Can you hear me, Kim? You there? You there?
Oh,
Carol?
It's Carol, bro.
Carol.
Yeah,
Kim,
you
Carol.
can call me Carol. Yes.
Oh, I thought you said it was Kim, but your screen name was Carol.
No, it's When I'm in the suite, it's Carrie.
Oh, Carrie. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I can't always hear my earbud. I have an earbud on and I can't always hear everything. I'm sorry, Carrie.
Okay. So when I'm on YouTube, I go in as my real name. That's my
Okay,
maiden name.
gotcha.
That's
I got it wrong. I'm sorry. Carrie, not okay.
No, don't apologize. You're always apologizing. Don't do that. You know,
I forgot what I was going to say now. I was going to comment on something that you said, but it left me. Sorry.
Hey, Carrie, Carol, Merry Christmas, Hallelujah. Can I ask you a question?
yeah. Well,
how would you feel if, and Eric, please forgive me, because we didn't talk just about beforehand. Would you allow us to have the honor on our next show to interview you?
Oh my goodness. Well, you can, yes. I've got a house.
Yeah, that would be great. I think that's a great idea, Daniel.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to put you. I know we're putting you on the spot. Well, I'm putting you on the spot. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I know I never met you before, but all the years I've listened to you, you have a mama energy.
Yeah, well,
and I respect that in you, and I respect who you are today after leaving the Watchtower. Even shows how much more of a beautiful person you are today. So I would ask permission. It would be an honor if you would allow us to interview you.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Not a pretty story, but it's my story, and
it's your story.
I'm happy to share. Not everybody walks the life I did, but there are many out there who have also. But it's okay. I survived by the grace of God. He got me through with a lot of bruises and scars and everything else, but I'm here.
Can I say something real quick?
Sure.
This is what I love about you. You're not a victim. You're a survivor. No. See, you acknowledge the scars. you acknowledge the scars, and that's the beauty of you. I've always admired that, because I thought, when I've heard you talk over the years, I thought, my God, she's gone through this, she's gone through that, and she's not a victim. She's a survivor. Nope. And that is something that we all can walk away with, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be victims. Victim energy does you nothing but keeps you stuck there. If you realize you're a survivor, and you realize, I got some wounds, I got some scars, and those are reminders, and you keep trucking forward, you keep moving forward, and you have that energy about you, and I think that's beautiful. Sorry, I'm outside, it's more going by. But anyway, I
Rick is yawning. Rick is tired. He's saying, "Okay, you guys, enough. Your 5 minutes is over. It's 12:30 my time and his. So listen, I'm going to let you guys go. It was a great show. I enjoyed it, and I had fun on YouTube. And you all.
And I'll make sure to not talk so much. I'll learn.
Hey, and before you go, Bob Roberts says that Carol is lovely.
Thank you.
In the comments section, that's Brad from Australia, my homeboy.
I love my Australian brothers and sisters.
Yeah, Calvin too, man. If you're listening to, love you, brother. Calvin from Australia.
Yeah. And we love you all as well.
They're great.
I love you, man. Don't say love you more. You don't win this.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to let you guys go. because I'll tell you what, Rick is being very patient, and
Yeah.
he's got to get up early. So
Well,
He
yeah, no,
does.
the point is, I want people to realize too that, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning doing the news and getting things ready.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to end the program, but because of the snafu we have, we usually end at 12 o'clock. So we're gonna wrap it up here. But Carol, thanks. Always good to hear from you, Carol. Yep.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you, Rick, for
You can contact me through Facebook.
and be on the show.
Well, very welcome, Daniel. So we'll look forward to the program in 2 weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks, Awakening After the Watchtower. So we're looking forward to that. But we'll be back next week with Fran and Joe. They'll be on your time slot, but we'll keep the slot open and we'll keep moving forward.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rick. You have a great night, buddy.
All right, Eric. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Keep waving that flag, and thank all those that called into the program tonight. We appreciate it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Sunday. We have our Sunday programs beginning tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Don't miss it. People don't like to come in Sunday, but we have a great time on Sunday. So hope to see many of you tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.